Fiji Airways TEIVOVO Rugby Show.
TEIVOVO, TEIVOVO!
I'm Ben Colley, FJ007, and here is our review on Super Rugby Pacific Round 1.
Scores for the Brumbies.
Thanks, Colley, and a review of Super Rugby Pacific Round 1. All the action and all the results. The Waratahs, of course, over the Swire-shipping Fijian Drua, 40 points to 10. The Chiefs beat the Highlanders 26-16. The Crusaders over the Hurricanes, and that was a cracker of a game, 42-32. The Reds dropped the Rebels 23-5. The Brumbies beat the Western Force 29-23. And of course the Moana Pacifica, the first game of their new life in Super Rugby Pacific versus the Blues, was postponed. But looking back, as expected, the Fijian Drua came out firing after that historic Imbole. All pistons firing away there for Nemani Nangusa and his team. And they certainly had the Waratahs on under some great pressure, but just unfortunately could not convert all that pressure to points, and so it was that the Waratahs got away and came back and scored, and our boys, just too many unforced errors, a lot of nerves. I can imagine young boys making their debut for the Fijian Drua, let alone in Super Rugby at that level of the game. But too many unforced errors, a shifty scrum which came right in the end. I felt they held up and held on and kept it all together. So that's something very positive for Mick Byrne and his co-coaches to work on. And the line-out, they got a few stolen by the Waratahs. They seem to know the Fijian calls and were jumping ahead of our number 2 jumper in the line-out and stole a couple of line-outs from there. But don't get me wrong, this was first up for the Fijian Drua. First ever game, all young, new talent, and there were a lot of positives to go on, I'm sure, for the team. First up, the backs. They were flashy and fast. That little halfback Kurvoli was all over the place. Sure, he made a couple of errors, but at least he was very dynamic. He tried things. He tried to get away. He did in fact steal a ball there. One great interception was away, and the ref called him back. But and outside him, Baden Kerr, the honorary Fijian with the blonde hair, he played well. He had a good, strong game, very steady, did what he was asked to do, kicked us into position, kicked us out of trouble a couple of times, and was a steady hand to guide the team around the park. Outside him, the 2 centers were dynamic and strong. I think there's a lot of potential for Ravovo and Vota. Strong runners, great ball carries with Hambosi coming off that right wing. They caused a lot of panic among the New South Wales D. Got caught a couple of times too upright on occasion, I thought, the boys, and so lost possession. Mind you, having said that, I thought the New South Wales Waratahs defensive line was offside all night. And the referee and touch judges didn't flag it, so they kept doing it, got away with it. Well, good on them, that's rugby. But they were right up. The centre was running in very early to get up on Vota. They'd obviously done their homework and probably watched them in Skipper Cup here the year before, but they were right up very flat, umbrella defense from their back line, and good on them for getting away with it, but it spoiled us. Our guys didn't get the momentum, should have maybe gone back a little bit deeper, because a hard-running Fijian centre is very hard to stop, but if you get him flat, he's going to be ineffective all night. So they were strong at the other wing, and the fullback had a quiet game, first up for them. But to me, the stars of the show for the Fijian Drua team were the forward. The tight 5 were very, very good. As I say, the front row held their own. They popped a couple of times, but they also popped the New South Wales Waratahs a couple of times. And you've got to remember, these are, a lot of wallabies in these teams they're playing against. and a lot of experience. The Waratahs are a tough nut to crack on their day in Sydney, so they were right at home. They had all the advantage, and our boys did reasonably well in the forwards, I think very well, in fact, in the forwards. I heard that young Tawake there spoke to his dad later on that night and said that they felt they were a little bit unlucky with a couple of the calls by the referee. As you know, it's all front row politics. Who popped up first, who put their knee down, hand down, whatever onto the ground, as giving up, as it were, in those exchanges. And these guys did very, very well. The two locks, young as they are, did very well for Fiji. Lined out in scrums, they were in the engine room, as I say. First up game, did very, very well. And of course, the stars of the Fiji team, Fijian Drua on Saturday night, to me were the back three of Darren Alangi, Salawa, and the captain Nangusa, who I picked as my man of the match for his try and for the way they were pressing at the very end of the game, coming back very strongly, led by Nangusa, magnificent try from the rampaging number 8. And Kitione Salawa at number 7 was outstanding. Couple of great steals, he was in it all night. And along with Darren Alangi, they were keeping the New South Wales Lucies honest, and they played very, very well. So on to the table, the wrap for the table as it stands, because of the big 30-point differential. The New South Wales Waratahs with 5 points and plus 30 at the top of the table, and the Fijian Drua with no points out of that game and minus 30 at the bottom of the table, and everyone else in between. This coming Saturday the second round of Super Rugby Pacific, we'll cover at TEIVOVORugby.com the 3 games on ASCO Motors Fan Zone, 3 of the 6 games we'll cover, which is the Brumbies versus the Fijian Drua, and that's in Canberra, and that's on Saturday at 3:35 p.m. And at 6:05, that'll be followed by the Blues versus the Hurricanes in Dunedin. And on Sunday afternoon will be the Chiefs and Moana Pacifica in Queenstown. For TEIVOVORugby.com and the Fiji Airways TEIVOVO Rugby Show, I'm Culden Kamea. Thank you.
Coach.
Our rugby club was established in December 2021, and we were able to get Isimeli Ulimbau. He's a level 2 World Rugby trainer certified, and also Raw President of Raka, who's a level 3 World Rugby coach certified, and is also a World Rugby educator. That's something big for us as well, to get a coaching of his magnitude to come and coach us at grassroots. The numbers were around 51 registered players, and majority are from Lakemba, Lau, Rewa, and like sprinkle of TEIVOVO. So it's a good mixture of the not only the boys from Lau, but with their traditional rivals and relations from Rewa and TEIVOVO. So the boys, when they gel well on and off the field, and it shows on their performance. It's more like a bunch of long lost brothers coming together and forming one team. We have a boy who comes all the way from Ndravo, TEIVOVO. He comes and sells Eevee and Boo on Waimanu Road just to come, just to get money to come and train. And that's some of the other boys. They farm, sell what goods they can have, and we just tell them, just get the training, and we'll provide the rest for you guys. We try and give them the standard that is expected of a world-class team. or as close as we can get it to when it comes to their recovery, to even their training. I mean, we're quite lucky to even have the chance to train in these facilities. Not only come and play here, but to train in it as well. We're trying to give these players the best exposure they can get. Because it's not social rugby anymore. It's it's just a pathway to something bigger and better in life. As you can see with all the boys who are now playing overseas, and we're hoping to provide this pathway for them.
Boys and girls, if you want a body like mine, watch Strength and Conditioning with Henry Elder.
Bulavinaka, I'm Henry Elder. I'm the national coach for weightlifting Fiji, but I'm also a fitness trainer and a strength and conditioning coach for many sports, including rugby. Bula, today we're going to learn how to do a basic squat. Now, the squat is a very important exercise, and it's done in many different sports and for many different reasons. But in our sport, in rugby, we use it for the development of strength and power, and also to assist in the development of speed. Okay, I have Curtis with me, and we are going to start off in learning the basics of the back squat. Okay, so first up is the placement of the bar. The bar has to be placed on what we call the trapezius. So if you can just turn around, Curtis, and let me take the bar. So this spongy spot here, in between the shoulders and the neck, this spot here. Okay, so that's where you place the bar. Okay, let's turn around again. So we'll place the bar there. And the hands should be somewhat closer to the shoulder, a little bit closer, not too far apart. Okay, so there's a reason why we do that, and that's so that you can ensure that you have a big chest. So your chest is upright and you can stand upright. Like some of the former props and hookers before that represented Fiji, like Bill Ngandolo, he's got a very big chest, so he stands upright like so. So in that position there, then your feet have to be at least about shoulder width apart or slightly wider. Like that, and then your toes are pointed outwards. Okay, from this position, you need to engage your core or your stomach muscles. Then we proceed. So you go down, sitting back into the squat until your hamstrings come about parallel to the floor, then you can stand up. Some go into a deep squat, like Curtis just did, but the basic requirement is up to about that position there, right there and then up. Okay, down again, let's do that again. And you can just have your head just looking forward. That's it, down, perfect. Do a couple more, just two more. Good, staying nice and relaxed. Right, good. Okay, just one important thing to note is that when you're doing your squat, you're going to ensure that your feet are nice and planted flat on the ground and that your heels do not raise off the floor. So you can ensure by doing that, by placing your feet flat on the ground, and as you go down into your squat, lean forward slightly, engaging your core. One friendly reminder, if you're going to be participating in any physical activity of any sort, always remember to get clearance from a qualified medical practitioner. Also, if you need any advice on health and fitness or strength and conditioning, you can always contact me, and the details are on the screen now. Raka.
Ya ni mula binaka, kita ni tutup go kita misarabat tinggal mata ini kita ni super rugby. Untuk ni ngau nama ini sarabat kita na nanti tim ni benua. Wala may nanti benua ni support takkan nanti ni nanti benua. Lebu ni wani bitter tunggu. Tu baka binibina ko lebu ni selon dorong nongong ni kini ni. Tu kuna kini ni support takkan nanti tim ni benua. Sabo ko ni bilang katin bonua ni nasarabat tal tinggal na kabini ko may bitu may nanda. Kena do tu kana uwa na bita la tiningau na. Ni sabo ko ni bilang katin ni na maruta kana bikar tu na may bakarita ka tsako. Na toro mo wer tong mali tsmay bonua. Kana boleh kita saloro mo tel ko ni bilang katin na saring ito na kabini ko. Isamo to man tapinak. Tosadroa.
Bulavinaka, this is Isaiah Washington again for TEIVOVODigital down at Combank Stadium, Parramatta. You can see the sea of blue, all the spectators coming out from the woodworks for the Drua, first historic game.
Come on, team. Play skills with Culden Kamea. Come on, team. Come on. He was behind me. I mean, I was faster than him.
Bula guys and girls, our skill today is the step. It's something that comes naturally to most Fiji kids, and this is a really good drill you can practice at home or with your friends at your rugby club. Today we don't have a defender, so we're using these cones. I think you'll find a lot of people that are new to rugby or still kind of learning will run and step on the same line, not actually moving the defender, so that isn't very helpful for you and where you want to go. So I'm looking here to go left of my left of the defender. I'll run on a straight line, take the defender one way, and step once they've moved, and accelerate off that step. So you want to practice off both legs. So straight line, take them off, step. And same thing here, off the left leg. Also remember, when you're stepping, so once you've shifted them, ball in both hands, step and switch so that you can put a fend out and just keep the ball safe away from the defender. Shifting them, step, step, and go. So that's our skill for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next week.
Rugby is played by gentlemen who know history. In 1864, Emperor Bosco's grandfather beat the Tongans in Wairiki.
Bosco, I absolutely laughed when I read your report on that famous game against the British Barbarians in your 1970 tour.
72.
And we gave them a hiding, 29-9, because it was a sunny day.
Whoa,
sunny day.
Beautiful day.
And like Fiji.
And that's why I heard afterwards that when they selected the team, the media people, they complained.
Yeah.
They said they selected a very good team against Fiji. But when I said, when we thrashed them, I think those people, I don't know what they want to say, when we thrashed them 29-9.
Yes. And Fiji scored 6 tries, of which 4 were by forwards.
By forwards, and that's why they said these forwards here are just running like a wing.
Yeah, that's amazing,
Well, it's amazing, man. Oh.
You know, all those guys were legends, Radhika, Chonangoro, Nasibi Robovo,
Good.
They love to run with the ball.
Yeah. That's why I said we're playing the Flying Fijian.
Yes.
That's what I said, the Flying Fijian. That's why I said one of the reasons why we defeat the British Barbarians, the British Lions. I said, Flying Fijians, every team in the world, as soon as they know that they play against Fiji, the first they come to mind, Flying Fijian, and they lam off the Flying Fijian because they don't want to run.
Yes.
Yeah, but now we're doing what they want to do. As soon as we hit, they love that.
Yeah.
They love it. They don't want to run that far away.
An open running game. Very structured and forward dominated.
That's right. That's right. Flying
and
Fijian.
you quoted, I love a line from your book, give a Fijian a yard and he'll take 100.
He'll take 100, yeah.
These guys really live that.
That's what they would say, because they know the Flying Fijian. They really lam off the Flying Fijian.
Bosco, these great forwards, I was just trying to think back, and just in recent time, I can only think of Mesake Rasari, Semisi Naevo, big running forwards. We don't have them anymore. We don't make them anymore like those days of...
Because I said every time, at the time, all of us grew up in the village.
Yes,
running and everything,
Yes.
bare feet. So that's why the bare feet thing. I told one, when Harlequins said, one of the officials there came to me and said, one thing I cannot forget about that, he was in the British Army and the Fijian in Malay, and they play rugby.
Yes.
Man, when we ran into the field, we ran with boots. when the Fiji team walk in, they ran in, no boots.
Right.
I said, but they said, there's the bamboo or the post, the goal
Yes,
post.
yes.
And I said, I kicked the ball. I kicked the ball towards the line. It was rolling on the line, and I ran in there to score. And one Fijian guy came on the other side and he kicked the ball. He missed the ball, he hit the post. And I said, man, he never even went down to massage his feet. He just turned around and ran back. When I looked like this, the ball here was cracking. So then I told him, hey, you know, during our time, when we grew up in the beach, not only that, there's a competition there. You know, we put our feet like that. We light the match and see how many stick you can stick it under your wear. That's how thick. That's
into
how
the
thick.
sole of your feet.
That's how thick the sole of our feet at the time.
So, Bosco, after I skipped to your time with the Harlequins. You know, when I read the book and thought back of your whole career, I really do think that the people of Fiji were very unlucky in that I think you played your best rugby in the early 70s, 73 to 76, when you were with the Harlequins, because as mentioned in the title of the book is Emperor Bosco. That was actually from a poem that was penned.
One of the rugby
followers anonymously wrote a poem. I mean, I've been in rugby a long time, and not as long as Bosco, but nobody writes poems about rugby players. Nobody. But Bosco had a whole poem written, and they called him Emperor Bosco, the man from the Friendly Isles.
I said, I was surprised when I walked into changing room one evening. I saw it was pasted on the wall. Man.
Yes.
So I took it. I took it and kept it.
That is amazing.
Yeah, man.
And I remember when we were at the Maris Club once, you told me the story, or you told a group of us boys who were there, that when you were playing at Harlequins, every Saturday morning, a chauffeur-driven Rolls Royce would come with the owner inside in the back seat to pick Bosco up to take him to the game. They wanted to make sure he didn't get late to the game, so they'd come and pick you up.
They come and pick me up. Even after the training and was there, the people will come to drop me.
Yes,
the very rich people there, they come and drop me in the rich cars.
Yeah. See, Bosco is very humble, but I'm sure, the value of the man was just so apparent at the Harlequins Club in the early 70s. This is before professionalism, so they just played for beer and, whiskey and...
Nothing, no money, no nothing.
In 1874, ratusan rute kembali dari Fiji to Britain. Nioti 5,000 tuan nembaki. William Webb Ellis sangai tahu rata kau Napolo. Tahu rata kau Napolo. Ngau ya. Tu ya bukan na gitu rugby. Ya lemu bikin tu ngau kanta menitashiri. Lemu nangau ya se ngau tu tungan dibikin kini. Lemu bikin di antara mengata sartungan na isul di pakan buak. Iya, sang gitara William Webb Ellis na Polo, sang giplis na ko kwa. Plis na ko na Polo. Waru binasa na dito ko na mata-mata. So, ay waluto. Awa!